Hey guys, this is Franco Tartaglia.
Oh, yeah, Kelly Berman.
And this is Cricket Time.
Yeah, I fucked up, right?
You already fucked up. This
true.
is our 9th episode.
No, see, I was looking at your head.
Well,
and it like I lost in the smoothness. It's weird.
it's about the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I just shaved it today. I mean,
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. No,
Or was
it's
it
a
your,
lot. It's a lot of work. Honestly,
was it your eyebrows? I couldn't tell. I just got confused on what was happening.
I know they're evenly shaped. I got a lot of comments from my girlfriend. I want your eyebrows. Can I have your eyelashes too?
Yeah, and apparently somebody wants your beard too.
Somebody wants my beard. I mean, hey, I keep everything groomed supposedly, but I do.
How's that beard oil going for you?
It's good. I use that every day. I use that and MCT oil, tag team, and keeps my beard healthy.
Cool.
Keeps a nice sheen. Yeah, but just taking care of my head overall, like shaving my head almost every other day, is tedious, but I prefer it. I think
It's discipline.
it's a lot of hard work to do it.
Yeah.
I have to shave it twice sometimes, too.
But yeah, was going to talk about how long it takes to do stuff that you love, right? We've got this thing where it's so now. But the best stuff takes a long ass time. So
That's true. And I think doing it yourself and knowing how to do it, it's good. It's good to know how to do that.
yeah,
The election is 2 days away.
2. Okay.
It's because this is coming out Sunday, therefore it's 2 days away.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure nobody gives a shit, and that's the sad part.
Nobody cares. I've not talked about it with anybody.
No.
I've not heard about it.
This is like the most depressing time of the year right now because of this election. It's getting cold, right? Like, I woke up this morning, was outside at like 6:30, and it was still dark. And I was like, fuck.
And yeah, well, that's the thing. I feel like I'm transitioning in terms of the season, right? And I feel like my mood is adjusting. I get that sense that I am adapting to the dark, but it's still not there yet. And the clocks still have to go back, right? Although if this is coming out Sunday, then the clocks would have already went back. So fuck. But
It's fine. We can backdate, postdate. It doesn't matter.
So I'm still adjusting to just the lightness and darkness. I'm trying to not let it get to me.
Yeah, it was muggy all fucking week.
Yeah.
It was just terrible.
It felt like Seattle.
And I felt like shit the entire week.
Yep.
I was wondering, like, what's wrong? Why do I feel like this? I was outside, but I wasn't. We didn't get any sun.
No sun. It's raining.
Cold.
Dark.
There you go.
And then we have to get through it somehow.
There was only one bright spot in this entire week.
What's that?
Kanye West. That was it.
How much does the earth cost?
Holy shit.
How much does the earth cost?
I'm so happy I watched that sober, because if I was any type of fucked up, anything, I would have just would have had to pause it, which I did multiple times, but that was for other reasons, because the shit was 3 hours long.
I listened to it. I finished it at work today. I played the shit, and I'm just going on this roller coaster with him, and I think he needed that 3 hour block. He probably could have went on for longer.
Yeah, that's not.
3 hours to him was probably like nothing.
How many times did he jump topic?
Oh, every 2 minutes, I feel like, at least.
It was all over the place.
Yeah. Somebody put in the comments, the timestamp guy has his work cut out for him.
No, fuck that. I was doing timestamps for these fucking podcasts, and I just said, fuck it. I said, no, you just have to listen to everything.
Yep. It's tough.
There's no way you can string all that together. But that's his mind, right? I could partially say that that's kind of my mind too. So it wasn't that hard for me to understand.
I would say for me too. That's kind of how I think. But in his way, it's so sudden.
Yeah.
Where, if I say something and then you say something, I think about it for a second, and then I decide, I'm going to change topic. But he was just like in mid-speech changing it.
Like you said, a symphony, right?
A symphony, yeah.
So I think that's the reason why Joe is such a good podcast. He's the number one dude because he knows when not to talk.
He does.
Right? He just listened.
And he barely talked the whole time. So,
I mean, is that not how it should be?
For his type of podcast, the format, yeah, it's like the way it should be.
Right.
And he, being an interviewer on more than just his podcast, I mean, for UFC, and he was a host on, what was the show called?
Fear Factor.
Fear Factor. So, he just knows, So...
But also the positivity that he brought with it, I thought was refreshing because he didn't run him off and tried to make him feel afraid. So he kept doubling down. He kept talking about more and more crazy stuff until the end where he was like quoting movie scenes and shit.
Oh, Star Wars.
Right. Yeah. Star Wars, Ricky Bobby, all of that, right? Like that's comfort.
Yeah.
That's like talking to your best friend where you can go on rants and say crazy shit and y'all both laugh.
He just provided that space, and I think again, if it would have went longer than 3 hours, it could have. But just for him to be able to explain himself, like there was some shit that I wanted to know, like when he was on the stage and he cried when he was talking about his mother, and we were able to judge him in that moment when we see it in the media, but we don't know what he really thought.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole point. And I think, all right, there's a few things that I think about this episode. One was that he let him talk. Unadvised, just go for it. I try to put you in a direction and then you can go wherever you want with it. And you can just riff and do whatever, which is kind of like music, right? Start one place and you just take the feeling, take that vibe and keep going. And then my next thought was, what was Joe Rogan's ultimate goal by having this podcast right before the election?
That's a good point. I think I don't think I think he's only in 17 states, he said.
Right.
It's certainly a campaign speech in a way, right? It's for him to really, this is maybe the first time that I know that he's allowed this amount of time to say what he's about.
Yeah, so, like the only thing I knew was that weird infomercial / music video where he promoted himself in Calabasas. And he was like,
yeah.
This was brought to you by Yay or some shit.
Right.
So
he talks about, he's like trying to create a new civilization.
Yeah.
It's really, some of the stuff he talks about is not unfamiliar to some of the things we've talked about or things we've listened to, certainly. But it's presented in a way that doesn't make it seem, quote unquote, crazy or your new favorite word, woo-woo.
Right. So, all right, here's the question. Who pushed that narrative of Kanye West that he was crazy?
TMZ probably, right, first?
Well, TMZ was the person who let him speak and, oh, by the way, let Candace Owens speak and become famous.
Right.
Right? And he even said...
Probably Trump, too. Tabloid.
He was taken out of context when he said that slavery was a choice. He wasn't talking about
Right.
Slavery. He was talking about, in his mind, signing contracts, making deals. That slavery is a choice. But at the time, that's not what we heard.
Right.
But he finally spoke about it.
I think probably for a lot of people it's too little too late, but...
Well, that's the whole point. We have the cancel culture.
Yep.
Just turn your back, cover your ears.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I heard him out because, like we talked about this previously, Kanye West could be the Jesus Christ of hip-hop.
He certainly thinks of himself as a follower of Christ.
And, that's weird. Like, the whole time I'm thinking, like, he keeps talking about God. Me not necessarily being God-fearing anymore. Me being humanity-fearing. Right?
Yep.
So for him to keep injecting God so much, that's disconcerting. But then also...
Why is it disconcerting?
Because, like, are we going to talk about how people are running around here every day saying that there's a man in the sky controlling their lives and not them?
Right.
Right? And we just accept it. But if I would say, like I would say there's a goat down the street that knows my name and says it every time I pass him, y'all would call me fucking crazy.
I think the way he approaches it, though, is one that is not typical. First of all, I don't think it's like typical, but it's not, if that makes sense.
I call it high power, right?
Okay.
Right. He has the platform, the capital, and the mind to do everything. Like when he talked about having that stadium and starting a school for gospel choir. That would be dope. But I can't lie.
Teaching people physics or some shit. Yeah.
Right. No, he was talking about, all right, so he said he was talking about like a school, like a preschool all the way up to the whatever. But they would teach our children all of the stuff that we need to know, but not in the way that we traditionally do it. So he's talking about reforming schools. Boom. We want that. Right. Then he talked about having a fully sustainable school, fully sustainable, not university, but campus, housing. So you're thinking, shit, he's saying some real shit. He's saying stuff that in 100 years we are going to need, right? Because Lord knows what our carbon footprint will be in 100 years, but hopefully it'll be 0, right? So he's talking about creating hydroelectric, right?
He's trying to create a new community, it sounds like to me. Through God.
To some people, they would call it a cult.
Right.
Right. But to other people, I mean, what would your ideal community look like if you had the power, capital, and brain power to get everything together?
I mean, but what exactly defines a cult? Because I think when I think of cult, I think of like Charles Manson and shit, and then he has these women go out and murder people.
Right.
But in the vein that Kanye is talking about it, it's like, oh, we really want to help these people spiritually and economically get on their feet and grow and learn.
He seems like a revolutionary where he's talking about Nikola Tesla. Yep. Not, the company, but the actual man who figured out a lot of this stuff. Then he talks about his fall from grace and how toward the end he was trying to sell bombs and other nefarious shit to different people to make money because because he died broke. But what I got from it was, here is this ridiculously smart person who is very curious about a lot of stuff, but he's not trained in it. So he's going to get the smartest people around him so that they can make it happen, which, if you think about it, that sounds like
what the president should do.
Exactly. And that's where Joe was trying to give him the layup at the end, was like, all right, let's wrap this up. And he was like, I don't like wrap ups. Right? And Joe was like, holy fuck, dude, you've talked for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm giving you 30 minutes for your presidential speech. And he didn't do it.
Yep.
Like, he asked him, okay, well, first thing is student debt. And he went on a rant of changing the world. But if you paid enough attention, you were like, holy fuck, yo, we could do that. Right?
It's kind of all tied in. I think that...
And he answered the question.
Yeah. Joe was trying to segment it in a way that is digestible for everybody to listen, but that's not how Kanye talks. But also, that's kind of like how I write. I think people write. That's how I can identify with that. We all have a draft, right? This is unscripted. I'm not thinking what I'm going to say before we come onto the show necessarily. I've not written it down, but he's just talking from the heart, and that's what Joe was saying to him. It's like, I felt like you're being genuine.
Yeah, like the moment where he asked him, I can't remember exactly what he asked him, but he stopped and he paused, and he was like, "I just made a prayer." And Joe was like, what the fuck, dude? What? Wait,
yeah.
You just prayed? He's like, yeah, I just made a prayer. He's like, why? He goes, because that's some serious shit.
That was wild, but yeah.
I was sitting there, and this is the point where I know a lot of people would already clicked off and wrote at the... A lot of people would have probably taken the first 20 minutes. They probably would have gave him 10. Listen to what he said. The first 10 went down in comments and just started writing shit. I don't think a lot of people actually sat there and listened to the entire thing before they said anything. And at that point, it was like, for him saying that he needed to take that time to say a prayer, just for the thought of that issue, not actually fixing it. What would he do if he actually was in power? You know?
He really gave it the consideration. He really, like, he paused, right? He prayed. But in doing so, he had to pause.
Right. That's self-reflection, right? It was deep. And you go, all right, well, he's not crazy. He's different. Right?
And I was saying to you earlier, I think that he's misunderstood, but that being misunderstood is very easy for somebody to say, look, if I listen to the first 20-minute clip and then don't watch the rest, then yeah, he's crazy. But that's kind of the point with all of this, is that those first 20 minutes could have easily been like, TMZ interview. Or if that's all you have, he kind of needs a time to revise his draft, quote unquote, and talk for maybe 2 hours. Maybe that's what he needed. He didn't, and that's why I think it worked.
Let's say it like this. We have this culture of responding to people's actions, right? Without actually letting them explain themselves before we respond. So what he said in TMZ was unforgivable. Then he never really was given a platform to express himself. So, of course, we're going to fill up our own minds with whatever he think he's saying. Now he's answered that question. I still feel like a lot of people's like, no. I still don't respect him. No. Still don't understand, right?
Yeah.
And then Joe talked about this one point I know you really appreciated. He asked him, why did you start taking those drugs?
Oh, yeah.
Why did you do it? And he never answered. He was like, why, dude? No, like, when somebody said I should take that shit, I was like, no, everything that I am now is because of all of the crazy shit that I've done.
Yep.
So why are you trying to, like Ye said, dull his genius?
I think at some point he even then said that his doctors, like 5 different doctors, kept asking him to take it, and he ended up just taking it at some point. Because he, if 5 doctors are telling you to take it, then, he probably thought, okay, maybe their advice is sound. And then he took it. And then he says that his creative genius was dulled.
Gone.
Everything seemed gray. Nothing was exciting. And for me, on the antidepressant, it's difficult to describe what that is like, but you feel like it's like a warm bath. It's not relaxing. It's a bath, but you don't, there's some element missing. Like you miss the bubble bath. I don't know. I'm coming up with this weird analogy right now, but
hey, I'm going to let you go with it.
Whatever.
I know you like that Roman Greek shit where they all take
public baths and shit.
Nah, fuck that. Nah.
So there's some depth, and that depth is really difficult to describe, unless somebody else is also artistic. But everybody knows what that is. Like maybe for you, something with cars, it might be the way that the engine sounds when you rev it. It's like that quality,
most
depth,
definitely,
right?
Yeah,
that we all know when we feel it. And so for me, and certainly probably for Kanye too, when we take those drugs, for him it's bipolar meds, mine was antidepressant, it's sapped and it's gone. So
interesting. So now we find out that the main reason for a lot of his strife was because he had thieves in the camp and he got rid of them and he's fine now. That's what he says. But it's funny how you can look a lot of places for stuff and find answers for it, but then you're just looking in the wrong place.
I think ultimately it doesn't, to the listener, that ultimately doesn't matter. I mean, that's his reason why he's been having problems. But we really needed to know what the fuck was going on. I still have a lot of questions about like the Jay-Z thing. That'll probably never get answered. Maybe not till later.
Well, maybe you need to stop looking at Ye and look at Jay-Z.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and ironically enough, they both went to therapy. You forgot that part. Kanye was talking about international therapy. He said the world needs therapy, and Jay-Z is in therapy too. So I thought that was interesting. I was like, this motherfucker. Okay, cool. I hear him. Okay. So that overall, I'm glad I listened to it. It's very enlightening. So, but that's still you still haven't answered my question.
What was your question?
How much does the Earth cost?
The Earth costs all of our lives. That's how much it costs.
So is it worth being... I don't like to say save the Earth, because the Earth itself does not need to be saved. We need to be saved.
That's why I said it, yeah.
Right.
Because if one person wants to own the Earth, everybody is going to have to die. There
was this George Carlin, at the time he was alive, talked about global warming, and he was against it. He thought that the polarity will change and the temperatures will change and all that stuff. But one of the key things that he had said in this not a skit, but one of his acts, he said that we always talk about saving the Earth, save the trees, save the bees, save the snails. They don't need to be saved. They will come and go. If we are really so concerned about this planet, we ultimately need to make sure that we're not harming it. And so we're not saving the Earth, we're saving ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. So what is the cost? Is it us? All of us?
Yep.
Okay. So how do we save us from us? Are we already at that point? Are we?
Kill your masters. Just like Ye was saying that there's this invisible wall that like will stop the Gap or whatever company he was with, Adidas, from putting him on the board. Why? What is that resistance to change? And those people are the most dangerous, because they'll hold your hand in a Black Lives Matter rally, right? They'll vote Democrat. But then at the same time, when it comes time to put you in a position of power, they won't.
Right.
So that's it. You know?
So Killer Mike was right.
Yeah. No, 100%. because we already know that our generation and the generation after us. All right, I'm gonna just say it now. I'm scared for the smaller motherfuckers because they all crazy. But I'm thinking about for our parents. There are people in that group that understand that there will be a changing of the guard, and they need to give up that power.
I would say to you that's already happened.
No.
Well, if you don't think it's already happened, we are in that transition.
Somewhat, yes. But I can say that Trump is a direct correlation to holding on.
Well, that's what 2016 was about too.
Right. I mean, they saw Obama and they said, "Whoa, that's too much change too fast. Let's slow it up."
That was their last attempt, their last roar, as it were, right? To try to say like we're right.
Yeah, and this goes back to my point of what exactly was Joe doing with that episode? And the capitalists would say he was capitalizing on being able to have one of the 3 presidential candidates on a week before the election. That episode had 4 million views within 24 hours.
Wow.
Last time I looked, it had 12. I don't even want to say 12. It might have been more than that. And this was a few days ago. So he's capitalizing. But I'm trying to think.
No, it's interesting though, because I know that he was running this year, but I did not, when I saw that they had recorded, I did not think of that.
And the whole point is, you talk to one of the most influential hip hop artists of our generation, and he barely talked about music.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing I was thinking of. He talked about gospel music, but he didn't talk about any of his past music.
He talked about Watch the Throne. It was kind of tangential, but it was not like...
but no, he did not go into like...
Right, depth.
Yeah.
But he did talk about the transition, though, because I feel like Watch the Throne was, 2010, 11? And then after that, we get Yeezus. I'm pretty sure that's the transition. So I don't think... I think Joe was just trying to let him talk.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that Joe was pressed, because it's a win-win for him. It's a win because, A, he's on your show. And then if you actually care about Kanye, then it's a win for you also because, okay, let him talk and I'm going to learn some crazy shit either way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's true. And then we didn't hear anything too musical in that way.
Just like with his music, I feel like he sparked people's minds with that one. He just showed them that there's other people out there that's trying to break shit, even at the higher levels. Because he's a billionaire now, right?
Yeah.
And he's still not accepted.
Right. Oh,
so that don't mean that we had to have $1 million to be accepted by millionaires. We can have 2 pennies in our pocket, but as long as we do what the fuck we need to do,
right,
that's all that matters.
I think that's a really good point, because for me, have tried to exude that attitude as much as I can. I have my shortcomings, but I know that I have a vision for a lot of things myself. I know what I had to accomplish this year and what I had to do. But just seeing somebody else that's out there like, wow, you know, he said he was $5 million in debt or however much debt he had, and he still accomplished a lot.
50 million.
Right. 50 million in debt. And to be able to come back from that and accomplish much. And viewing him in the way that I view him now, before it was, you know, maybe 5-10 years ago, it was a lot more tabloidy. You know, it was a lot of, and not only with him, but then, I don't know how long him and Kim have been together, but just those two in sync, very much of the tabloids. But now, they have changed in quite a dramatic way, to the point where she's trying to get convicted felons out of prison, and They're both on interviews with Letterman. So it's a very interesting shift to me to see that. Two important cultural figures, nonetheless.
Yeah, and that just goes to show entertainers rule the world now. Like, we don't trust politicians anymore.
No.
So now we need our entertainers to start controlling stuff, which is disconcerting, but...
You say entertainers. I would say artists.
I'll give you that, but I say entertainers on the fact that that's what they do.
I would say an artist because it was just taking him as an example. I can see what he's trying to create. I mean, he's trying to create a whole other civilization. I mean, he's trying to create something new, even if it's a model for what he would like to see, which is probably why he's running for president. But that vision only comes to fruition because of artistic license. Yes, he's an entertainer. Yes, he's funny. Yes, he can be the man in the spotlight and be the star of the show and be on television. But I would say ultimately, like in that Letterman interview, when they went to their house, which I don't know if you've seen that, but he takes Letterman into his fucking house. Mm-hmm. That's very personal. He showed Letterman like their whole fashion line. So there's something artistic about it. That's why I would say that.
Question: do you think he took some votes from the Democrats with that?
If he did, it's not his responsibility. And I would say that in the following way, because... Okay, so what votes is he taking away?
He's not taking the Trump votes. I already know that.
He's not taking the Trump votes.
Yeah.
I don't know. So here's one thing. Is he taking away black voters?
Most definitely.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Black people are not a monolith, right?
No.
Okay. So I guess that's kind of my inclination to say, is it his responsibility, right? Like, people can make up their own minds.
Right, like, should we be writing in Bernie Sanders instead?
Well, exactly. I would say something to that effect because, there was the Biden interview on Breakfast Club, right? I still can't forget that. Or if you're black and you don't vote Democrat, then you're not really black.
Right, and you're stuck at that one. I'm stuck at when he had an interview with Cardi B.
Oh,
that was the one that
I didn't even see that.
No, you shouldn't have. That was
the
most awkward shit I've ever watched in my life. Like, you could see how confused he was every time she talked. It was so weird. But
yeah, that's one of the things I've started to do because I on my Instagram follow a lot of people and recognized of my own mind that I just started to follow a lot of black culture without really knowing who some of these entertainers are. I just started to do that. So these past 3 days, I've unfollowed everybody, including you, including our podcast page. I'm down to like 97, and Instagram will not let me unfollow more than I think like 200 people at a time. I followed like 1,500 people, so it's taking some time.
Wow. Okay.
But I'm starting over because if people are really honest with themselves, we'll be like, wow, am I really just following these people because for what? Why am I following them? Am I trying to get in tune with something? Am I trying to... I think people have honest means that they're trying to do something, but I think they're not being too honest with themselves. And so I'm trying to reevaluate who I follow on Instagram.
Okay. I would say none of that even matters.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter who I follow. when it comes across my timeline, the discernment that I have for each post is very high, regardless of who it comes from.
Right.
I don't even see who posted it anymore, unless it's like a picture of your face.
Right. Well, that's the thing, though. I want to be able to, if I'm going to follow you, I think this is the thing we need to take more seriously. It's because we don't take social media seriously. We kind of just tend to, whatever, we're following a ton of people, and we get all kind of information. Maybe that develops our opinions, too. We have just kind of unsolicited people, right? We may have followed them for one post they made. I'm trying to hone in on, like serious information gathering, like...
Good luck.
Right. It's tough. That's a whole fucking experiment.
Okay, that's not called social media then.
Right.
You need to be on something else because that does not exist on social media.
But back to your thing with Joe Biden, Democrats, is Kanye taking away votes from Democrats? I think I stick with my point. Like, anybody can choose to run for president, and how many votes is he taking away? Do people know what even those 17 states that he is allowed to be, and he's even on the ballot, yet alone can we write him in? Is he on the ballot in any of these states? It's probably marginal, and I don't think ultimately that's why he decided to run.
No, he's just putting his stake in the ground.
Yeah,
I don't think that that's why he's doing it. I don't think he's trying to get publicity because of who I think he is. And from what I saw, yeah, I don't think he's doing that for the publicity. I believe he really made a decision. And of course, like with anything, he's just casting his ballot early. And yes, he's doing it 4 years early, but at least he's getting his name out there now so that in the next 4 years, he'll really be able to solidify his candidacy.
It's smart. It's a smart move. And even if he doesn't win, him having that... Look, I think some people are quite frankly more involved in politics than other means sometimes. So we all have that one thing we're really into. And he's just tapping into something else. I mean, he's just trying to put himself out there in as many ways as he can. So if he doesn't win, then it's not going to hurt him. He only benefits from doing this.
I could say the same thing about Trump until he actually won.
Yep.
And
maybe winning is the problem then. I mean, yeah.
Winning for a person that is not prepared is the problem.
Yep.
Right? Like I was watching, he did like a 60-minute interview. I don't know how long ago it was, but I just saw it across my timeline.
Oh, I saw it too. Yeah.
And he said, "Why are you asking me the difficult questions? You gave Sleepy Joe layups, but you told me right when we sat down that I'm going to ask you some difficult questions." And I'm thinking, you are the president of the United States of fucking America.
And he got up and said, "See you later."
Right. Oh, and Borat, by the way, did you hear about that
what's happening with that? Yeah.
Well, there's this guy
with Giuliani.
Yeah. There's this guy who, oh, by the way, was the personal lawyer for the president of the United States, who was on camera fondling himself. Right.
Okay.
On an Amazon Prime movie. Right. And with a 15-year-old right next to him.
No way.
Yeah.
Giuliani. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Good old Rudy.
Wow.
Yeah. I just watched it today. My brother hit me up like a week ago. Was like, yo, this shit is wild. And I'm like, all right, it's Borat. But I'd seen the picture, but I didn't understand exactly what I was looking at until the scene came up. And then you see him laying there on the bed with the whole...
Oh my God.
So...
Isn't that guy, I feel like, is it Borat or is it the other guy? The guy that played Borat, but he's like some other character in this show.
Yeah, that's his character.
Okay, right. I'm gonna have to watch it.
No, he does a masterful job of, first of all, being disrespectful to everybody, so he can't be taken seriously.
Right.
Every topic is a topic, no matter how fucking crazy it seems or taboo it seems. And he just pokes holes in a lot of the cultural norms that we have. So, more power to him. But yeah, watch it. I only finished watching 45 minutes of it.
Shit. Okay, I'm going to ask you again, because I still haven't gotten the answer to it.
Yeah, I did.
But you didn't.
Wait.
What is the cost of the earth?
I just said it. Everybody.
No. How much does the earth cost?
Everybody's life.
This is what I would say to you about that. I had a week off of work, and I had decided to get high for a couple of days, just chill out. And you had come pick me up, and we had driven around. And to answer the question, how much does the earth cost? Right? We drove around Towson. If people that don't know where Towson is or the development that's going on there, it's an area that's in Baltimore County that, at least for me, and I believe for you as well, it's very different now. It's different, but it's the same. It's become much more commercialized, a lot more shopping. They have high-rise apartments going up, a lot of construction going on. And in those high moments, I'm sitting in the car, and we were eating a falafel wrap outside, and I'm just I'm people watching, I'm just seeing how people are reacting to what's happening in the world, just as an observer, just trying to figure out what people are feeling like. And I remember this one woman, we were sitting there in the car, this is before we got out of the car, and she just obviously very frustrated. And it kind of escalated when she saw that the bagel shop was closed. And I'm thinking, is it worth it? I mean, we all have bad days. I don't know this woman. I don't know what she's going through. I don't. And maybe somebody died in her family. I really don't. But will we allow things that are outside of our control affect us that much? So that was kind of the first instance that I saw. Then we're walking to this coffee shop. For people that don't know, I like to eat a lot, so we went to a couple spots. And we're walking, and there's this dude walking towards me. And I was like, "How you doing?" Just kind of nod my head. And he just gives me these eyeballs, "Why are you talking to me?" I was like, "All right." So then that instance happened, and then what was the instance we came out of the coffee shop, which I thought was that was probably the most dramatic of the three, which was there was this couple. There was this white couple that this older white gentleman was looking at you and I, but let his wife walk in front of him, but was looking at us up and down.
I didn't see that, but
and he was kind of concerned, what are these guys doing? What would they have no place to be? Why are you looking at my wife? I'm like, first of all, ain't nobody looking at your wife, bro. Okay. Second of all, we're just trying to go about our day. So just mind your goddamn business. Keep walking with your wife, because I saw him turn and look like this. I'm like, and his wife is looking behind at him. And I don't know. This is all to say, and I won't get too much into what happened the rest of the day, but what is the cost of the earth? I think that, we will pay a price. We will pay a lot more if we don't learn how to treat one another. And tied in with that, we also were in nature, and the shit sucked.
You thought it sucked.
I thought it was awful.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
HD. I need that Netflix Planet Earth.
No, it is HD.
It's 2 HD.
Okay, let's say it like this. It's just not the HD of sitting on your couch and...
Exactly. So, what is the cost of the earth? I think that we we need to learn how to treat not each other, but learn how to treat ourselves better. I think we kick the shit out of ourselves for things that are out of our control or things that go on. And then at the same token, why did I think nature sucked as much as I did? I've not really been out in nature like that in a while.
My question is, what were you expecting?
And that's the other thing. I think we have a lot of expectations. I had an expectation of, I'm gonna just go on this trail, and you were like, we're going
deep.
We're going deep in the fucking woods and like trekking, and I'm wearing a cream sweatshirt
and light gray sweatpants. And I'm looking at, and you had like running shoes on, nice brand new running shoes, and I'm looking at this guy. I have my fucking Mueller or whatever the hell those boots are, right? I've got on my freaking camping shit, and this bitch is looking like he's about to go to Wegmans. I don't judge. I
didn't really prepare well. I'm just like, here I am. Here we go.
Right.
And lack of preparation. You know what they say, and I'm not. So that's my own goddamn fault. But the cost of the earth is that we are gonna. The price is gonna fucking go up every time if we don't fucking change something about how we treat ourselves and treat our relationship with the earth.
All right, so
I don't. The answer to the question is I don't know, but it will continue to go up.
Yeah, it's unimaginable, right? So what should we do? Should we hold all of this time now as more precious?
I mean, I think it certainly is.
I don't think they hold time in the way that they should, right? I know a lot of people that just try to rush through their day just so they can go to sleep.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think that I also try to avoid, I know I just said that I think people need to do something. I try to avoid like saying people should do something. I mean, I have the best hope people will do what's in their best interest, but if we're looking out for one another, then we say that with kind of a we're trying to ensure the longevity of our species in some way. And also we're all trying to have a good time here, supposedly. I would like to think that a lot of people are trying to enjoy their life. Right? Which ties into my next thing. We were at a small gathering, and I've never had so much fun, and I feel like a long time.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I missed.
Yeah, 100%.
Not just being around people, but being around people that were like-minded.
And also enjoying themselves.
Yeah, enjoying themselves. It was safe. I didn't feel any judgment. You know, it was just how it should be. You know.
No, I feel like that guy that kind of intruded in some way or not.
Yo, Michael's on 10. All right.
Whoo, man.
And the other guy name was Mike too. So don't try to. But listen, I still appreciated him too.
In some way, yeah.
No, in all the way, because I was like, he chose his Saturday night to be here, right? Drinking among people that don't look like him. And he could just be in his house afraid, or he can get drunk as shit and just be him.
Right.
That's why I respected him for it. Which it didn't seem like you respected him, which I thought was funny. No. It looked like you were judging him worse than we were.
Yes.
Why? What?
Because well, first of all, they kind of just came over unannounced.
No, well, they're neighbors, though.
They're neighbors.
Wait. Are you trying to say you only want to be the token white guy? You like, whoa, dude, you're encroaching.
Watch, is like one white guy here.
Whoa, there's only enough space for one of us, okay, Mike?
I feel like I judged him because he reminds me of an uncle.
Yeah, I said that, right?
And that really upsets me because I feel like I don't even know what this sounds like, but I feel like I have a responsibility for him not to sound stupid. I don't know. And so the fact that he was sounding dumb made me angry.
That could have been you.
That was certainly me. I'm not saying it wasn't me, but I'm also saying that I would expect better of somebody than to just,
No, I give people the benefit of the doubt all the time until you lose that benefit, and then it's war. But right, like with anything, like I said before.
I mean, he was getting pretty close.
No. I mean, once he recited the Biggie line, I knew that we were at the precipice of Mike is officially trying to get his black card.
Yeah, he was trying.
Right. But I mean, he was an ex-cop, so I'm pretty sure he locked up a lot of black people. So for him to be able to come over there and talk to us was already respect on a level that I don't think you understand.
Probably not.
Yeah. So, because of course we talk about the whole system is corrupt. Not saying that the people that work for that system are corrupt, but it's a direct correlation to if the system is corrupt and you're enforcing it, then you're corrupt in a way.
Right.
But for him to do that.
Yeah. I think you and I was viewing him in different lights.
Yeah.
And I am viewing him as like, you could be my fucking uncle. And if you are in my family, then we got a fucking problem, because you should not be talking in some of the ways that he was talking.
Right.
And so I got kind of angry that, like, in some way, like, also trying to defend my friends, some people I've not seen in a while, like, why are you coming over here and starting this shit? Like, I have this need to, I want to make sure everybody's having a good time. I don't like disruption like that, and that's kind of what I felt like I was trying to make sure he wasn't being a disruption. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll see now that you are just a protector. Yeah. That's all you are. Just like a lot of us. You'll notice that there are sentries that are always paying attention, always alert. Then everybody else can relax.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
You'll just figure that role out,
I feel like I was in that moment.
But and my thing was, I felt like you were ashamed of him, and it was like embarrassing to you.
Yes.
Right? But at the same time, you weren't thinking about how all the black people around him like may not like white people. Right. So it was just like, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
No, I definitely thought that might be, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I'm still tripping about the whole token white boy. Yeah, token white boy. Yeah, I'm just going to get you a shirt with a T on it, and you could be token.
I really don't know why I let him get to me in that way. I act that way when I host a party too. Like, I just want everybody to have a good time, and so to see that somebody had invited me over, and then for their party to potentially be, I mean, I don't know the guy, so I didn't know what he was gonna do. And you guys have had a couple of parties there. I think I've been to one of the past. You said but I can't even remember. I feel like it was so long ago, but I don't remember that guy. And so the fact that, again, I know they're neighbors, but maybe we view neighbors differently. Because if fucking neighbors come over to my house, I want to know what's up. Like, just don't stroll over here.
I'm just trying to think if the roles were reversed, and if I had the ability to be your neighbor, and it was an all white party, and I was only black guy singing some like Kenny Chesney.
Oh my god!
Like what that?
Yikes!
Man, I think that would. I need to create that skit. Like, all right, he went to Tupac and Biggie. So what is synonymous in the country music genre as like the familiarity of Tupac and Biggie in the hip hop?
It's definitely probably Kenny Chesney.
Right, that's why I said it, because
Who sang that? Who sang that song after 9/11 happened?
Why are you asking me? I don't know. What the fuck? I'm sorry. Do you not know who I am? What? God Bless America?
I don't know. There was a very famous country song that had come out after 9/11, and my father used to put it on the radio. So I don't.
All right. Well, yeah. Let me sing "God Bless America" because at least I know I'm free.
Right. Yikes.
Right. Do you think they would have accepted me like that?
That's the song. That is a song. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Let me sing that shit
Yikes.
after drinking a whole bunch of Colt 45s because that's the stereotypical black guy drink, right?
Yikes.
I need to do that, right?
Colt 45. What is that?
It's the OE of OEs. All right, so actually OE, Colt 45, Deuce was 22. They're like the big 40 drinks, right?
Oh,
the malt liquor.
The big ones, okay.
Right. So it's funny because like that's the stereotypical black in the city. I'm not gonna say the U word because fuck the U word.
Yikes.
But the inner city drink of choice. And out here in the county, and he wasn't in the county, we were on the edges of it, was what? Bud Ice?
Yep.
With a 24-ounce Bud Ice.
Bud Ice.
With a beer cozy as big as a damn thing. So he was prepared.
God bless him.
Right? So, but yeah.
I won't knock him for trying.
No, okay. And that's the thing. Like
he did.
I can't wait for you to have a party and for me to be able to do that and not even like feel bad about it because I'm just playing the stereotype that everybody thinks.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you thought, he was playing that stereotype.
But was he?
You tell me.
I feel like he was.
He was. That's the whole point.
Right.
But you think of that stereotype in such a way, right? Because it's him shedding off of his pride or whatever and trying to connect in the only way he knows possible. That's the only way he knows possible to connect with black people is to talk about Biggie and Tupac. Not about anything else. Biggie and Tupac.
I don't like to think that he's like pretending to try to fit in or what have you.
Right.
But he just seemed to be trying too hard, whatever it was. And so that is sus to me.
Nah,
so,
let's say it like this. If this isn't the first time you've seen this happen, right?
Certainly not.
What is happening, right? If the same thing can happen multiple times, then what is happening? Do you get me? Like, what exactly is happening to the point where multiple people can get in the same situation and pretty much have all the same outcome? You get what I'm saying?
I think so. So kind of unpack that.
So how did he get drunk talking about hip hop? Right? Well, that's not the first time I've heard a drunk white person
try to talk
recite
about
hip hop.
Right.
To me.
And especially Biggie or Tupac.
Yeah.
Right.
So
what would make them realize that?
Because that's the only thing they feel like we're connected with. That's it. That's the only way they see that we are similar is hip hop.
So I had social anxiety before going into the party because I didn't think I knew. As a matter of fact, I didn't know some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
But I had social anxiety. But at no point did I think, let me try to identify with people in that way. Like, I'm going to approach you like I approach anybody else, right? And let me just, hey, you guys want to sit outside and let's start the fire. Like, that's all I said to them. So I think that I recognize part of maybe him and me from an earlier time.
You were like looking at yourself from the past.
I probably did that in the past. I don't know. Hope I didn't. I really hope I did not. But I can't discount that, right? I can't discount that some of the things he may have said, I may have said in the past myself. I don't think so. But coming where I've come from, then that's not unheard of either. So there could have been many elements of anger in my reaction to him.
Okay, well, let me see this. We just talked about how hearing somebody's unedited version, right, or inebriated version of themselves doesn't really give us the 100% view of who he is.
True.
So maybe you need to sit and let him talk for 3 hours and listen to him.
You know what? I'll call up Joe Rogan and he can be on the Rogan podcast.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm talking about, right? Like that's the whole point.